Let's be honest for a second. How many times have you found yourself stuck, frustrated, or overwhelmed by problems that seem impossible to solve? Whether it's a challenge at work, in your personal life, or just the everyday grind, it can feel like you're hitting a wall with no way out. But what if I told you that the solution isn't about finding some complicated, one-size-fits-all answer? What if the real power lies in something much simpler, much more practical, and a little more realistic? Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into pragmatic solutions to common problems. I'm not here to give you some abstract theory or a magical fix that doesn't actually work. Instead, I'm going to share with you actionable strategies that you can apply today. Strategies grounded in real-world practicality that will help you break through those obstacles and move forward with confidence. Stick around, because what we're about to explore will change the way you approach challenges forever. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Let's get into it. Number 1. Stop planning. Start doing. You know that feeling when you have a brilliant idea, but somehow never get around to actually doing it. It's like you spend more time planning than executing. Now, stop me if you've heard this one before. I just need to plan a little bit more, then I'll start. Well, here's the harsh truth. Planning doesn't get you closer to your goal. Doing does. Trust me on this. You can spend days, weeks, or even months creating the perfect strategy, but if you never take that first step, it's all just wasted time. Yes, it might sound a little controversial, but what if the real secret to success isn't in the perfect plan, but in the messy, imperfect action you take? We've all been there, right? You get excited about a new project, maybe it's a side hustle, a fitness goal, or even just organizing your house. You start with a list, write this, do that, check off those boxes. But somehow, the list keeps getting longer, and your start date keeps getting pushed back. It's like you're preparing for a battle, but never actually walk into the battlefield. And before you know it, weeks have gone by, and all you've got is a to-do list that's just staring at you, judging you. Ever felt that way? Here's the kicker. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You need momentum. The trick is to embrace imperfection and take that first step, even if it feels clumsy. Yes, the first step might be messy, awkward, or not at all how you envisioned it, but the point is, it's happening. Think about it. You can't learn to ride a bike by reading every manual in existence. You just get on and pedal, falling a few times, but eventually getting the hang of it. The same goes for your goals. It's all about building that muscle of action. Let me tell you about a time when I decided to finally stop planning and start doing. I had this idea for a YouTube channel, and of course, I spent weeks planning. I mapped out content, researched equipment, perfected my script. But let's be real, none of that mattered until I actually turned on the camera and recorded. I had a million reasons to delay. The lighting's wrong, the sound's off, maybe the concept isn't solid enough. But one day I told myself, enough. I just hit record, even though it wasn't perfect. And you know what? That imperfect video got me closer to my goal than any perfect plan ever did. It wasn't about being flawless, it was about taking action. This is about reclaiming your time, your potential, and your peace of mind. It's about letting go of the endless cycle of what-ifs and embracing the freedom of moving forward, even when things aren't perfect. So the next time you catch yourself stuck in planning mode, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I just start? You'll find that the benefits are far greater than you imagined. Taking action is empowering. It proves to yourself that you're capable, that you don't need permission to move forward, and that the world doesn't wait for perfection. Here's the takeaway. Your progress is your power. Not the plan, not the preparation, but the doing. When you start, you'll discover new things, adapt, and grow. That's where the real learning happens. So go ahead, Stop planning, start doing. Your dreams are waiting on the other side of that first step. Number 2, cut people off, but make it productive. Here's the truth. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is cut people off. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is about being rude or dramatic, let me stop you right there. This isn't about petty fights or burning bridges. It's about clearing space in your life for the people, opportunities, and energy that actually matter. Yes, trust me on this. You might be thinking, but cutting people off, isn't that a little harsh? Let's unpack this because it might just be the game changer you need. You know the type, the person who's always draining your energy, complaining without ever taking action, or even just the one who subtly brings you down every time you spend time together. It's the friend who constantly needs you, but when it's your turn, they're nowhere to be found. We've all been there, right? You put in the effort, offer support, and give your time, but what are you getting in return? More stress, more negativity, and more emotional exhaustion. It's a pattern that wears you down, little by little, and before you know it, you're too busy fixing other people's issues to even address your own. Sound familiar? Here's the twist. Cutting people off doesn't mean you have to be cold-hearted or cut everyone out of your life. It's about recognizing who and what is contributing to your growth and who's just holding you back. Psychologically, humans are social creatures, and we tend to surround ourselves with people who either align with our goals or, sadly, enable our stagnation. If you've ever tried to make progress but kept finding yourself getting stuck in toxic relationships, then this idea is for you. It's not passive-aggressive, it's productive. Clearing out the clutter in your social circle frees up mental and emotional space for your true priorities. The more you surround yourself with people who lift you up, the more you'll find yourself rising higher too. Let me share a personal example. A few months ago, I realized I had a couple of friends who were constantly draining my energy. They would call me for advice, talk about their problems endlessly, but when it came to anything I was going through, they disappeared. I started feeling like their emotional punching bag, and guess what? My mental health began to take a hit. So I made a decision. I didn't send them a long, dramatic message. I just stopped initiating contact, and the relationship naturally faded. At first, I felt guilty, like I was being mean or selfish. But here's the kicker. Within a few weeks, I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. My energy was back, and funny enough, my other friendships grew stronger because I was finally giving my attention to people who actually reciprocated it. This isn't about being rude or cutting ties without reason. It's about reclaiming your space, emotional, mental, and even physical. It's about choosing yourself, prioritizing your well-being, and knowing that you deserve relationships that nourish you, not drain you. It's empowering to know that you have the strength to set boundaries and protect your peace. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Your energy is precious, and you have every right to protect it. So here's the bottom line. Cutting people off doesn't make you heartless. It makes you wise. You're not making room for negativity. You're making room for growth, for the people who matter, and for the life you want to live. You're building a space that's filled with positivity, opportunity, and peace, and that is something worth fighting for. Number 3, choose pain. Now, so you don't suffer. Later, here's a bold thought. Embrace pain today so you don't suffer tomorrow. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pain? No thanks, I'll pass. But hear me out, because this isn't about masochism or some weird self-punishment. It's about choosing the right kind of discomfort today to avoid the regret, frustration, and real suffering down the road. Yes, trust me on this. It might sound counterintuitive, but the hard choices you make now will save you from a whole lot of heartache later. You know the type. the person who keeps procrastinating, hoping that the tough stuff will magically fix itself. We've all been there, right? Whether it's putting off a tough conversation, delaying that workout, or ignoring the bills piling up, it feels so easy to push things aside in the moment. The problem is, those little delays start to add up, and before you know it, you're drowning in problems that could have been solved if you'd just faced them head on. It's like ignoring a small crack in the wall, thinking it'll be fine, until one day the whole thing comes crashing down on you. We've all pushed something off thinking it's not that big of a deal, only to regret it later. But what if I told you that embracing discomfort now is the key to avoiding much bigger pain later? This strategy is about confronting the things you're avoiding, the tough conversations, the hard workouts, the uncomfortable financial truths, because while they sting now, they prevent a far worse fate. Psychologically, our brains are wired to avoid pain, but delaying discomfort only makes it worse. Facing what's hard today gives you control over your future, while avoiding it puts you at the mercy of circumstances. Trust me, it's all about the payoff, taking the hit now for the long-term peace of mind. Let me give you an example from my own life. A few months ago, I had a project at work that I kept putting off. The deadline was looming, and I just didn't want to deal with it. The longer I avoided it, the bigger the mountain seemed. It wasn't until I finally sat down and just tackled the task head-on that I realized it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. Sure, it was uncomfortable for a while, but the satisfaction of finishing it made all the stress worth it. On the other hand, if I had continued putting it off, it would have caused a chain reaction of stress, missed deadlines, and even bigger problems down the road. Here's the thing: choosing pain now doesn't mean seeking suffering. It means choosing the right kind of struggle that leads to growth and resolution. It's about having the courage to face what's uncomfortable today so that tomorrow's burden doesn't crush you. This is about reclaiming your life, your energy, and your sense of control. When you face the hard stuff, you stop being a victim of your own procrastination and start becoming the person who takes charge of their destiny. So, here's the bottom line. Choose pain today so you don't suffer tomorrow. It's a mindset that leads to strength, confidence, and peace of mind. Sure, it might sting for a moment, but that discomfort is a small price to pay for a future free of regret. And in the end, that's the kind of strength that'll set you up for success, today, tomorrow, and beyond. Number 4, let go of your passion and find purpose. Here's a truth bomb. Let go of your passion and start focusing on your purpose. Now, before you get defensive, hear me out. You've been told your whole life to follow your passion, right? But what if I told you that this idea, while well-meaning, could actually be setting you up for confusion and frustration? Yes, trust me on this. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but passion is often a fleeting feeling, while purpose is something that gives your life real depth and direction. You know the type. The person who's constantly chasing the next big thing, trying to follow their passion but never feeling satisfied. We've all been there. The "I'll be happy once I find my passion" mentality can leave you feeling stuck, like you're always searching for the thing that's going to light you up, but it never quite does. It's like being on a treadmill, running hard, but never really getting anywhere. You end up feeling burnt out, questioning whether you're doing enough, or if you're even on the right path. We all want to be fulfilled, but sometimes we're looking for it in the wrong place. Here's the twist. Passion is not a destination. It's a feeling that comes and goes. It's fleeting, and it doesn't always align with our deeper, long-term needs. Purpose, however, is something that roots you. It's not just about what excites you in the moment. It's about the legacy you want to create, the impact you want to make, and the values that guide you every day. When you have purpose, passion follows naturally, but purpose is what anchors you. And here's why this works. When you focus on your purpose, you're no longer chasing a fleeting feeling. You're chasing something that's consistent and fulfilling over time. Let me give you an example from my own life. A few years ago, I was obsessed with the idea of finding my passion. I'd jump from one hobby to the next, thinking that if I could just find the right one, everything would click. But the truth is, nothing ever clicked. I felt like I was always one step away from true fulfillment. Then, I shifted my focus to purpose. Instead of looking for something that sparked excitement, I started asking myself, what do I want to contribute to the world? I thought about how I could help others, how I could use my skills to solve problems. And guess what? The moment I focused on purpose, my passion for what I was doing grew naturally. It wasn't a struggle anymore. I had clarity. This is about giving yourself permission to stop searching for a constant flame of passion and instead build something meaningful with purpose. It's not about always feeling fired up. It's about knowing that every step you take, even when it's hard, is aligned with a greater sense of direction. This shift in mindset frees you from the unrealistic expectations of constant excitement. It's about reclaiming your peace, stopping the comparison, stopping the cycle of feeling not enough, and starting to live with intention. So, here's the bottom line. Let go of your passion and focus on your purpose. Passion will come and go, but purpose will keep you moving forward with confidence and strength. It's not about what feels good in the moment. It's about the impact you want to make in the long run. And when you start living for that purpose, you'll realize that fulfillment isn't about chasing something. It's about creating it. Your purpose, your impact, your legacy, that's the real source of fulfillment. Number 5, hustle less, create more. What if I told you that the more you hustle, the less you create? Sounds backwards, right? You've probably been told your whole life that success is all about grinding, pushing yourself harder, staying up late, and constantly hustling. But here's the thing, hustling constantly might actually be getting in the way of your creativity. Now, I know it sounds like I'm asking you to do less, but trust me, the magic happens when you start doing less and focusing on creating more. You know the type, the person who's always on the grind, jumping from one task to the next, checking off their to-do list like a robot, but at the end of the day, they feel like they've gotten nowhere meaningful. We've all been there. The hustle culture has brainwashed us into thinking that if we're not working ourselves into exhaustion, we're failing. But in reality, that constant rush is killing our ability to do the one thing that matters most, create. Creating takes energy, focus, and space, none of which you can give if you're running on fumes, chasing your tail. Here's the truth. Hustling all the time burns you out and stifles your creativity. It's like trying to plant seeds in soil that hasn't been rested. Nothing will grow. Creativity needs room to breathe, to flow, and to evolve. So instead of doing constantly, try shifting your focus to creating in a way that feels intentional and impactful. When you stop constantly hustling, you make space for the ideas, the passion, and the breakthroughs that you've been craving. By hustling less, you free yourself to work smarter, not harder. And here's why this works. Productivity isn't about how many hours you put in, it's about how effective you are in the hours you have. By giving yourself the space to rest and recharge, your creative ideas will actually come to you faster and stronger. Let me share a quick story. There was a time when I thought the secret to success was simply working longer hours. I'd stay up late, skip meals, and hustle hard, thinking that the more I did, the more I'd achieve. But all I ended up with was burnout and frustration. Then I started embracing the idea of working in focused bursts. I'd take regular breaks, step away from the screen, go for walks, and actively give myself space to think. And guess what happened? My productivity shot up, and I was able to create at a level I'd never imagined before. Ideas started flowing freely, my work quality improved, and I felt more connected to my creative process. The hustle was replaced by focused energy, and I started creating with purpose and passion. This is about giving yourself the permission to work smarter, not harder, to honor your creativity instead of constantly chasing it. It's about reclaiming your peace and taking back control of your time. When you stop forcing things to happen, you allow them to unfold naturally, and in that space, you become the best version of yourself. No more overworking yourself, no more anxiety about productivity, just pure, intentional creation. So here's the bottom line: hustle less, create more. Focus on quality over quantity. Give yourself the space to breathe, to think, and to innovate. When you create with intention, the results will speak for themselves. Your time, your energy, and your creativity are worth more than just constant motion. It's time to stop running and start creating. Your space, your creativity, and your peace. That's what will lead you to true success. Number 6, fail fast, fail often. What if I told you that failing might actually be the key to success? I know, it sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? But hear me out. Fail fast, fail often. I can already hear the doubts creeping in. Why would I want to fail? You might be thinking. I want to succeed, not stumble. Yes, trust me on this. Failure is a tool, not a setback. The quicker you fail, the faster you learn. And the more you fail, the closer you get to success. We've all been there. You know the type. The person who's terrified of failing, so they procrastinate, they overthink, and they make excuses just to avoid the possibility of messing up. And guess what? The longer you wait, the longer you stay stuck. We get so paralyzed by the idea of failure that we miss out on the lessons it has to offer. But here's the truth. If you fail fast and fail often, you will actually accelerate your growth. It's like taking the shortcut to success, because each failure is a stepping stone, showing you exactly where to pivot and how to improve. The concept is simple. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Failure is the feedback you need to refine your approach, perfect your craft, and get closer to your goals. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but think about it. If you try something, fail quickly, learn and adapt, you're progressing much faster than if you hesitate, playing it safe and never taking the plunge. The longer you wait, the longer it takes to learn what works and what doesn't. Let me tell you about a time when I was stuck in that mindset. I had a project I was really passionate about, big goals, high expectations. I spent weeks planning every detail, hoping that if I just got everything perfect, I could avoid failure. But guess what happened? I didn't launch. The fear of messing up paralyzed me. And the worst part? I wasted all that time in fear. Finally, I decided to say, you know what? I'm just going to dive in and fail fast. And the result? A bunch of mistakes, but also massive breakthroughs. I learned exactly what needed fixing, how to adjust, and how to move forward. I realized then that failure wasn't something to be avoided. It was something to embrace. This isn't about celebrating failure for failure's sake. It's about realizing that failure is the fastest teacher you'll ever have. It's a moment of growth that's just as valuable as success. And the more you fail, the more resilient you become. The more you fail, the more you trust your ability to recover. You stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a sign of progress. At the end of the day, failing fast and failing often is about taking control of your growth. It's about stopping the cycle of overthinking and taking the action that will lead you where you want to go. Don't let the fear of failure keep you in the passenger seat of your own life. It's your journey, and failure is just a detour, not a dead end. So here's the takeaway. Fail fast, fail often. Let each failure be a stepping stone toward a better, more refined version of your dream. Fail with confidence, learn with intention, and keep moving forward. Your space, your peace, and your progress. That's the power of failing often. Number 7. Work hard, play harder, but actually play. Here's a statement that might make you raise an eyebrow. The key to working harder is playing harder. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm already juggling a million things at work. How am I supposed to play harder? Yes, trust me on this. Playing is just as crucial to your success as your work ethic. I get it. The hustle culture has made us believe that if we're not grinding 24/7, we're somehow failing. But what if I told you that taking real breaks, playing and recharging, could actually make you more productive? We've all been there. Burnt out, overworked, feeling like every moment of our time needs to be filled with work. You know the type, the person who's always in work mode, rushing from one task to the next, with zero time for themselves. But here's the catch. Not giving yourself time to play is the very thing that slows you down. When you're constantly pushing, your brain and body start to shut down. You hit a wall. But when you actually take time to play, whether it's a hobby, a game, or just spending time with loved ones, you recharge your mental and physical energy. So here's the strategy. Work hard, yes, but play harder. And by that, I mean actually play. This isn't about taking a 5-minute break and scrolling through your phone. That doesn't count. I'm talking about engaging in something that truly lets your mind switch off. Something that gives you joy and energy. The trick is to fully disconnect from work. No emails, no tasks, just pure, unadulterated play. It's like hitting the reset button for your brain. When you give yourself permission to really play, you're telling your brain, I deserve this. And guess what? It responds with more creativity, focus, and drive when you get back to work. I'll give you a personal example. Last year, I was on a tight deadline with a huge project. I had a mountain of tasks and felt like if I didn't power through every second, I'd fall behind. But I noticed my energy was draining and my focus was slipping. So instead of pushing through, I decided to take a full day off. I spent the day hiking with a friend and unplugging completely. When I came back to my work the next day, I felt like a brand new person. I had more clarity, I worked faster, and I actually enjoyed the process. Taking that time to play, without feeling guilty about it, allowed me to come back stronger. This is about giving yourself permission to rest and recharge, without feeling like you're being lazy. It's about reclaiming your energy, your creativity, and your peace. I know the urge to keep working, to never stop, is strong. We've all been conditioned to think that if we aren't constantly moving forward, we're falling behind. But the truth is, playing is a form of investing in your own well-being. It fuels you for the long haul. So, here's the takeaway. Work hard, but don't forget to play harder. Play with intention, play with joy, and give yourself the space to truly relax. Your space, your peace, and your productivity. That's the power of balancing work with play. So go ahead, take that break, play that game, have fun. You deserve it. Number 8. Reject perfection. Embrace progress. What if I told you that the pursuit of perfection is actually holding you back? I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? But hear me out. Reject perfection. Embrace progress. Now, you might be thinking, but isn't perfection the goal? Shouldn't I be aiming for the best? Yes, trust me on this. Perfection is a moving target, always just out of reach, and the more you chase it, the further it slips away. What if, instead of chasing perfection, you focused on simply getting better every day? What if progress was enough? We've all been there. You know the type. The person who spends hours tweaking, overthinking, and reworking something until it's perfect or just right. You've probably done it too, spending endless nights on a project, constantly adjusting the smallest details until you're burnt out, only to realize you've made little actual progress. And the worst part? You still don't feel like it's perfect. We often get so caught up in trying to make something flawless that we forget to celebrate the progress we've already made. Here's the truth. Progress is the key to success, not perfection. You see, when you focus on perfection, you become paralyzed by fear of failure and the idea that nothing is ever good enough. But if you shift your mindset to embracing progress, you allow yourself to move forward, make mistakes, and learn along the way. It's about small, consistent steps that build over time and lead to remarkable results. It's about giving yourself permission to grow without the pressure of being perfect. I remember a time when I was working on a big project, one that required a lot of attention to detail. I was obsessed with making every part of it flawless, making sure every little thing was in place. But after a while, I realized I was stuck in a loop, perfecting one section, only to go back and overdo it again. It wasn't until I finally stepped back and decided to embrace progress instead of perfection that things started to click. I shifted my focus from making it perfect to just making it better each day. And guess what? The project turned out great, and I didn't burn myself out in the process. It was a huge win, and it all came from letting go of perfection and celebrating progress. Here's the thing. Progress is empowering. It gives you the freedom to try new things, make mistakes, and still move forward. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent and doing the best you can in the moment. And when you focus on progress, you start to feel more confident, more accomplished, and less anxious about whether it's enough. It's about saying, "I'm proud of what I've done so far," instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect. So, here's the takeaway. Reject perfection, embrace progress. Let go of the unrealistic standard of flawlessness and focus on making consistent improvements. Your space, your peace, and your progress. That's the real path to success. Because progress, my friend, is all you need to build something meaningful, impactful, and fulfilling. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found today's video helpful and that the pragmatic solutions we discussed can make a real difference in how you tackle everyday challenges. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out and lets me know I'm on the right track. And if you want more content like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on new strategies and insights. Got someone in mind who could use these practical solutions? Share this video with them. It might just be the help they need today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts or personal experiences on this topic. Leave a comment below and let's continue the conversation. Remember, the key to overcoming any problem isn't finding perfection. It's about making consistent, practical progress. Keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next video.